Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another season of the British and Irish Pro League. We are delighted to have you with us. I'm delighted to be here. My name is Nualaic. I join you from the void, and joining me from the void that they call a bedroom, it is Twiggy.
It's got the same colors. Maybe like I'm casting that light over to your void, or like you're in like a pocket dimension in my room somewhere. Maybe
you've got me trapped in a lava lamp somewhere in the background there.
That's a good. Yeah, that's a good idea. You're in that lamp right there. Actually, you're part of the plant, an ecosystem, including Nua.
Yeah. Makes sense. Anyway, we should talk about what is going on because we are excited, as we say, to start up Season 2 of the British and Irish Pro League here. Of course, some of you will remember the British and Irish Pro League 1 happened all the way back in 2022. There was, in theory, a system of promotion and relegation going on between League 1 and League 2 back then, but with such a long break between League 1 and 2, those promotions and relegations were scrapped, and for BIPL League version 2, everything has been completely reseeded. So it was a time attack, and then there was a rounds time attack, and we have the top 16 players completing in League 1, but Twiggy, we're going to be kicking things off with Division 2 this evening.
Wow, I'm so excited for this one. Obviously, we've got Division 2 starting things off. We're going to be moving on to Division 1 later today. That's going to be kind of the thing we go through every single week. We've got weeks and weeks, 5 weeks, correct, of action for you, but we'll start things off today, and well, we'll see how everything stacks up. There have been some predictions going on. I can't remember where the thing was. I want to find those predictions. I found the prediction sheet. I don't know if I can get access to the answers to those because I do want to bring those up. I will ask at some point if I can get that. But that does look interesting. We've got a lot of stuff to come, and we'll be able to find out how things stack up together.
Yeah, and we will find out how these players stack up in these matches as well. The format for BIPL 2 is going to be 1v1v1v1, 4 players in a match playing reverse cup mode. A couple of changes from BIPL 1 as well. The points distribution per round has been slightly adjusted, and we will be playing 3 maps per week as well. You will still get the same number of points if you finish first, second, third, or fourth in match. That is 4 points if you win your match that week, 3 points if you come second, 2 points if you come third. And Twiggy, pop quiz, how many points if you come fourth?
Fourth, I can't remember. I know that if you don't finish, you get no points or negative points. No, DNF you lose 12, right? So
yeah, except that's per rounds, but specifically if you come fourth in the week, you get 1 point.
1 point. I knew that.
Doesn't that? It makes sense, Twiggy. It makes a lot of sense. I know you were off looking for access to a spreadsheet, so it was very unfair of me to spring a question on you.
How could you do this to me? You know what? We haven't done anything together for a little while because we're in the kind of season break. So it's been a little while since I've been bullied, and I wasn't ready for it today. I'm not gonna lie. I was
going to say the vibe is just off, but no, you've just jumped straight to the bullying accusations. But Twiggy, you still brought up a good point, which is yes, as I mentioned, the points distribution per round has been adjusted for this reverse cup mode. Now, if you win a round, you lose 0 points. You do not lose any points, which opens up the possibility that here in BIPL 2, we are going to see a perfect match from someone, starting with 120 points and finishing with 120 points. It would be absurd. I'm not convinced it's possible, but my God, if it happens, we're going to be very excited. It is -4 points if you finish second in a round. It is -7 points if you finish third in a round, -10 if you come last. And then, of course, Twiggy, as you say, if you DNF the round, it is -12 points. So you want to be making sure you get across that line.
Yeah, definitely. So an interesting format, one that I have not actually casted myself, so we're going to see how that one works out, but I'm sure other people will be kind of familiar with this one going into it. Well, I mean, there's kind of new rules coming in, so we're all learning on the fly here. We're all, getting in there. We're all kind of... It's the school of Trackmania, the school of British and Irish Trackmania, which, I mean, your thoughts on the education system in this region of the world? I don't know where we rank on kind of world ranking. I can't. My teachers used to go like, I think they were bragging a lot about the kind of the ranking of the UK and Ireland in terms of the world education system, but I'm pretty sure it's not that great. I'm not gonna lie.
Let's just not get into it. It's just like,
why not?
That is a rough conversation to have, okay? We'll just make fun of the fact that nobody on either of these islands actually speaks a second language properly and leave it there, Twiggy, all right? Well, move straight on, and let's talk then a little bit about some of the matches that we are covering tonight. As you said, we are going to be kicking things off with a Div 2 match, an all-English Div 2 match featuring Seanywolf, Coops, Rebel, and Eggy for this one. Of course, there is a second stream. We should note that as well, going on with a nearly all-Irish match going on. Blueberry, Lazed, and Keenus, and I can't remember the fourth player. Twiggy, who's the fourth player? That's going on
I would know.
OC_1895. The boys are over there. Doc and Doc, as we call them, or Doc and OC, as you may know them, will be covering that one as well. So there is action happening everywhere.
Yes, interesting stuff. We are currently looking at the players.
Big is the fourth player.
Ah, there you go. Okay, so look, there's one. That's kind of. I feel like that Vic needs to be very careful. I think, you know, obviously
the Irish are going to gang up on him.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think, you know, like. I'm not gonna. There's probably no bad blood between the players specifically, but there's a certain amount of. If you've ever been to like a football game between any teams within the Isles, you'll know how much everybody hates each other in a competitive setting.
We are in the first 5 minutes of week 1, and you're already bringing up national tensions, brother.
I'm not bringing up national tensions. I mean, sport competition tensions. Those are completely different things.
Alright, yeah, fair enough. We'll see how that ends up going over there, but we'll focus on our all-English match. Pay no attention to the British flags. These are for English players, because when we get down to it here in British and Irish Trackmania, it starts to make sense to differentiate a little bit more. Should be a very interesting match here at the very least. Some very good players who maybe are a little bit below their seeding. I guess we'll see when it gets into it. We are playing 3 maps tonight. We're going to be kicking things off on Sun Petal Gardens, and I'm looking forward to seeing how all of these maps play out. They are kind of a little bit of a more traditional competitive style, I guess is the word, kind of a mixed style that is so prevalent in Trackmania competition now.
Yeah, a lot of kind of tech stuff and a lot of dirt is a big part of these ones. So very different to the kind of things that we see in obviously the Trackmania World Tour, which are way too dank compared to these, and you know, different to what players play a lot of the time. So this is something that everybody will have practice specifically for. I think a lot of these players don't play a massive amount of competition kind of format maps.
So this is our first map of the evening. We'll talk about the others as we get there. This is Sun Petal Garden. It'll be Saudade afterwards by KJ. I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing that right. And then Worm, which I know I'm pronouncing right by mine to round things off for our 3 maps. Worm A? No, it's just there's
Warm.
no. That's Warm.
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 I mean, yeah. Look, hey, staying with the theme, like Sun Petal Gardens, it's probably warm there. Either way.
Yep, either way, we are underway. Twiggy, this is our first round of the British Irish Pro League 2, and we are seeing how things work out on Sun Petal Garden here. There is a couple of tricky moments in this map. One of them coming up here as well is this jump over onto the black platform, which we saw in the warm-up, a couple of players struggling a little with, and then this follow-up drift, very tight, very narrow, and an issue. At the moment, Coops having no problems at all. Rebel just behind, looking to see what kind of times we get here on this first round.
Oh, Rebel had a really nice line through there, but a little bit of an overheat over towards the wall. A little crash out. So far, Coops, the only player who has not bonked here in this round, and I think that is going to be the difference maker here in Division 2. Rebel goes for that safe finish. Comes home in second place. It's not the end of the world. Points differentiation-wise, oh, Seanywolf just doesn't quite make the risky, and gets over the line eventually. But well, I actually, considering how little time before the DNF comes through, it is really important you stay at the very least somewhere close to first place.
It really is. Trying to hang on, because of course then when we get one player eliminated, those point losses do shift, and this is probably news to you, Twiggy, that once we get rid of one player, we no longer have -0 available. So remember when I said that it was possible that someone was going to get a perfect match? Absolutely a lie.
Yeah. Well, look, you're known for that, so that's absolutely fine. Nobody is surprised by the fact that you're lying to them. It's all good. So Coops staying in first place for the time being. Wants to try at the very least to get that flawless scoreline that is not possible. He listened to you, even though you're spreading misinformation at this point in time. Rebel, let's see if he gets that same line and might just be able to get an overtake if he stays out of the barrier there. Overtakes one, but that's a nice line from Coops to get back into the fray. Seanywolf staying out in first place, trying to make up for the awkward round last time. Lost 10 points. Can he get 0 this time around? It is good. Stays on 110. That's a wicked finish if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, Eggy a long way down. Will drop to 103 points after just 2 rounds. and is starting to fall away a little bit in the third and the fourth place finish are not how you want to be kicking things off. But Coops, not untouchable. So all the other three players still very much very close to each other as well, and there's still plenty of time for Eggy to clean this one up over the course of the next little while. We are expecting to see the times on this map, especially here in Div 2, a little bit slower than Div 1, kind of that high 52 to mid 53, looking like a round winning time.
Yep, looks that way. And right now, you know, different players have kind of different parts of the map that they seem to be more comfortable on. I think, you know, Rebel generally tries to catch up towards the end of the map. Seanywolf has been a little quicker at the start of the map historically over the course of those 2 rounds, and it seemed like Coops was the most all-round player, but had a bit of difficulty getting over one transition later on there. Eggy trying to catch up at this point, and with Rebel having an awkward wheel lift over that corner, it is going to allow everybody to, you know, close that grouping.
Trying to catch back up at the moment. Seanywolf has the lead from Rebel at the moment. It's a touch from Rebel. Seanywolf picks up first place. Eggy will snipe for second, and Rebel will take third. Ultimately, Coops just too far down to take full advantage of that mistake, and that does mean that things shift up a little bit once again after a great first round from Coops. It has been a couple of mistakes in a row, landing them a lot further down this leaderboard.
Yeah, well, everybody is staying really tight together there in the score lines. Fortunately, we're not going to have a complete blowout. No players going out immediately. Well, what would it be? 12 rounds. Unless 10 rounds if you DNF'd every round until you get put onto the 0 points. 12 rounds if you lost everyone. And I don't think it's going to take 12 rounds. I think we might be getting up towards the 20 range if anything is to go by for the moment, because everybody's staying quite close together. We're getting an even distribution of points lost.
We are. It is worth noting as well that Seanywolf, in theory, the highest ranked player coming into this, the highest seeded player coming into this match. Coops was, I believe, the second, and Eggy was the lowest ranked player coming in. We'll see if that is how it ends up playing out. We saw a great first round from Coops, but from there it's kind of fallen off a little bit, and Seanywolf is starting to kind of settle into this match, it looks like. As I say, that will touch a wall. The caster curse in full effect. Coops, again, not close enough. Seanywolf had enough speed to make it to that safe fin with a little bit of a riskier line, and Eggy coming home in 4th place.
Oh, Rebel is 3rd seeding-wise. I've been with him in divs in a couple of days, enough times that gives me a bit of an ego boost here on this one. It might be div 2, but hey, I'm going to take what I can get. That's still competitive.
This is just a very stacked competition as well, Twiggy. Yeah, you got to remember that. Like, Rebel finished up seeding in 28th, so, you know, good enough for div 2, but not good enough to really challenge for div 1. Div 1 has a lot of very, very strong players up there. I'm looking forward to seeing that match later in the evening.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have a lot of very strong players here in UK and Ireland in Trackmania. Either way, that's not surprising whatsoever. We have, I mean, we don't see a lot of it in Trackmania World Tour specifically, but there is a lot. And, well, with players now all... I mean, look at that grouping of scores there. Rebel and Eggy on very... Oh, sorry, Rebel and Coops on very similar scores. Eggy down by 10 from those two. And Seanywolf showing that seeding up with 110 points now. We move on to the name that I'm...
Sodat. Sodat is what we've been told in chat. Yeah, except they did use the word so, S-O-W, to tell us, which is a word that has multiple pronunciations in English. Yes.
That could also be Sal. Yeah, that's a scary
unfortunate, honestly, given that Sao and So were the two I was stuck between already.
Yeah, because AU really could be either of those things. But hey, I'm gonna hedge my bets with Sal. And we'll go with that. Either way, now these players moving on to a different area here, and don't let the mud fool you. It's a different map. Over they go. Eggy crosses that line first in warm up. Nobody else setting a time so far, but that's the time to beat. A 108.3 here. We'll see if anybody is going to get across that one. Probably, you would hope so.
Well, I think also the thing to be scared of for the other 3 players in this match at the moment, who are already trailing a little bit behind Seanywolf, is that Seanywolf massively overperformed on this map in the time attack seeding and rounds as well. Was the 10th fastest player in seeding on this map. So this could be a lead that starts to balloon out very quickly if that kind of performance continues through.
We'll find out now. Coops having a little more trouble here on the first round than they did on the first round of the last map. Trailing by quite a little bit, but Eggy... I mean, it's an awkward place to have a bonk, because you bonk once, you bonk again, and then suddenly you're in a tree. and now all the way back in 4th place by quite a long distance. It's Seanywolf and Rebel battling out for first.
Yeah, Seanywolf pulling away as well. Rebel potentially drifting a little bit back here, but should still have the speed to stay away from Coops around these final 2 corners. It is going to head towards this finish now, and we're looking to see where everyone does end up if they can make it cleanly. Seanywolf holds on. Rebel still there through the finish. That was close from Coops, but does make it through. The 58.8 is very solid there from Shawnee to kick things off, and honestly just on pace as we kind of maybe expected based off those seeding results. Shawnee does look to be just kind of a class above. It's mistakes that will cost him on this map, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, has dropped 1 round, came in 4th place in the first round there, and that's 10 points lost, and since then has not made a mistake so far, at least not one big enough that anybody else could catch up. And hopefully that's not going to be the case for the whole game here, because that would make for very boring content. But either way, we'll see. I would be happy for him if it did happen. So now everybody going back into things, and you can just see Seanywolf has a little bit more confidence through each of those turns. You see how much tighter that was. Gained him a good 3/10 on everybody else in the server, but this time it is a much tighter packing than last round.
We're going to see now these kind of final dirt turns as well. Gear's important on them, especially these last couple that come up at the end. And we'll see. I'd kind of expect Shawnee to hold on. Eggy with a little bit of a mistake, getting the smallest bit of airtime, will be very slow. So this drift around the outside and maintaining your gear into the dirt, there's a chance to lose or gain big there potentially. Looks like everyone cleanly through this time around. Shawnee, though, holds on to that lead, and you'd expect to nail the finish here. Coops is again so low, but held on by 200ths as Shawnee once again nails that 58.8.
And those are precious points as well when you're that close to your opponent there in the middle of the pack. Now only 1 point separating the two, but Coops takes over 2nd place here. Seanywolf still pretty much untouchable at this point. We're looking at a gap of 22 points from 2nd place now. Eggy down on nice points down at the back, and it's starting to get insurmountable. If you let this happen over and over again, if you come in 3rd and 4th place round on round, it does start to get to that point where, you know, it's going to be very difficult to make things happen. You start to lose a bit of confidence.
They stack up very quickly. Shawnee trailing behind this time around, not quite having the speed to match up. Didn't quite see what happened at the start, but could well have happened on that early sausage block, because a little bit of airtime there really does slow you down a lot, and Shawnee is struggling to make the distance up. Up at the top, very tight, 2/10 separating the other 3 players at the moment. Our eyes are on Shawnee because it's been a while since they dropped around, but is still looking to make it back as Rebel will touch. That's 1 down. Coops, the next in line, 2 down. Eggy, can you hold on? Went a little bit awkward over the inside of that dirt. There's more speed on Shawnee, but I don't think there's enough track left for it to matter. Eggy just needs to nail this. Finn will not nail the Finn. Did get through. Got through, and that's a huge win for Eggy, who was starting to drift a long way away on points. Shawnee comes 2nd, and that is a first loss of points for Shawnee since round 1.
That is incredibly important, incredibly close, but got it done. And, well, that's a massive, massive amount of points gained compared to 2nd and 3rd place there. Now up towards an 8-point deficit, which is absolutely, you know, a drop in the bucket compared to what we could be seeing later on. A drop in the bucket compared to his distance to 1st place, for sure, with a large gap there. What, 25 points at this point? And that is several rounds worth. You know, you need to start making that up right here, right now, and maybe that's a good bit of confidence there for Eggy to start getting things going. But obviously in Div 2, what we're going to see is consistency is really key a lot of the time. Setting really fast times is great, but if you are bonking every other round, it means you're losing out on a massive amount of points.
Really will end up falling very quickly indeed. These final turns as well, we have seen that they do start to challenge the players. Just setting up for this tight drift inside the pole can put you at a lot of risk, and then the follow-up if you're carrying too much speed there. Coops just holding on the outside, really carrying speed. Shawnee falling a little bit behind. It's going to be tight at the front as well between Eggy and Rebel. Shawnee forced to go for the safe Finn, and it was processional to the end from the other 3. Eggy picking up a 2nd round win in a row.
Yeah, not just important at this point. That is going to put him very close back into the runnings here. Really, really good stuff. And Shawnee now with 2 suboptimal rounds in a row starts to get things back towards, you know, that slightly tighter grouping that we saw at the end of Sunflower Gardens? Was that? I can't remember what it was now.
Sun Petal Gardens.
Sun Petal Gardens. My bad. Look, I don't even know what a sun petal is. So there we go. We're moving on to the 3rd map here.
Yeah, and this one particularly interesting because it was not a part of the seeding. So in many ways, this is our first time seeing the real pace of these players on this map. Worm by Mime, and we'll get to see exactly what they can pull out. A little bit of a surprise for us, maybe a little bit of a surprise for their opponents as well. Is this where Seanywolf can start to stabilize again after having built up a big lead, slipping back down to the rest of the field? And can Eggy continue this comeback that's kind of manifested in the last couple of rounds?
It would be awesome to see so. First map so far with a nice turn. All the way around. Definitely not warm. Probably is warm, in fact. Looking at that. The only map with ice out of the 3 and a lot more sausage compared to everything else. What? Wasn't
even me giggling that time. That's giggling from production.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, this is the only producer we have that talks to us mid-broadcast, and I sometimes get confused who is talking.
Well, yeah, there is a couple of little sausage blocks around the way as well. And on this first one, this first turn around and this landing as well, it is so important to get up to gear 4 and to maintain it around the first couple of turns. I was comparing notes with Doc, who's over on the alternate stream at the moment earlier. And by comparing notes, I do mean reading Doc's notes and providing nothing in return. And he described it as gear soup if you do miss this turn. It makes the entire next series of turns just brutal to navigate through. It's very difficult to find the time to manage to regain that gear 4. As you can see here, this turnaround onto the grass, into the dirt, following around one more time. You're in a lot of trouble if you do not have gear 4 on this section.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that affects the players in practice here. We're seeing much less of a tight grouping of the races as we go on through. Coops already falling down by half a second. Eggy trying to catch up at this point. But yeah, as you can see, very difficult. Once you make one mistake, it really compounds itself into several. Eggy catching up to second, but Seanywolf is now out ahead. And keep that gap.
Yeah, trying to maintain it as Eggy tries to gain. That's a touch on the wall. Now to Seanywolf, surely home in first place at this point. You need to maintain on that final uphill dirt as well, the gear, because if you don't, you might lack speed for this risky fin. Eggy did have enough to get through, but it is Seanywolf putting another round win on the board after slipping back towards the rest of the field in previous rounds. Eggy does continue these strong performances though, and is back up into, I think now, potentially second place overall, or is at least, no, getting very close, in third place and 1 point behind, 66, 65, and 64.
Ah, very nice. Thank you guys for making it interesting at the back there. Obviously, since it's reverse, can't remember what the format is called, but the one where you have to stay away from reverse cup, stay away from 0 points as much as possible. That's going to make things real interesting, as opposed to, you know, having one player down at the bottom and then 3 players contending for first place. I want to get the action straight away, so we're going to see how that manifests itself later on. If we can have several players on 0 points at the same time, that would be very, very interesting.
Yeah, and I think Coops there. Oh, there goes Shawnee. That's a big mistake, going to cost a lot. I think Coops was in gear 3 for a lot of the start of this map and still managed to navigate it very, very well. So it has put him behind a little bit, right? Is still clearly not contesting with the first couple of places, but did manage to do quite well. Now it's uphill speed here and maintaining gear in this turn too, because this is the turn that really determines your speed into the end. Big mistakes there means you will not get the risky. Coops is gaining, he's getting close, and that was the decision from Rebel that they did not have the lineup for the risky fin, and it cost them 2 places and a round win.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate, especially considering the 2 players that are closest are the ones that got first and second now, so that's going to drop Rebel down from second place into fourth place quite convincingly here. And we're starting to get towards that kind of, you know, it's crunch time now. We're down into the lower half of the points. We were on 120 to start things off. Now we've got 2 players on 60 or below.
We could potentially see, you know, 2 players in that elimination zone at the same time. Definitely feels the way we're going, as we are essentially halfway through the match at this point.
Good
with 2 players now breaking that half point. You know what? Well, yeah, but like it is seeded, you know, where the players are in theory each from different seeding brackets for this first match, and this is very even despite that.
I mean, good seeding
players?
Sure. I don't know.
Oh, gear.
Doesn't necessarily mean it's bad seeding.
No, I think it is just kind of what we're expecting out of BIPL too, is that there's just a lot of good players, and some players are going to be capable of continually putting up surprising performances.
Yeah, well, Rebel starting to drop further down now, and we might just have another situation like Eggy had early on when they were down by 20 points to start things off. Seanywolf, just about makes it up into first place and stays there. 24 thousandths between themselves and Eggy. And,
DNF timer. This is minus 12.
Yeah, this is absolutely massive. Rebel is not making it to the finish line. More than 15 seconds back means that you are out of things pretty much guaranteed. And that's an extra 2 points lost. That's a really, really, really bad 2 points to lose as well.
When we're talking about how close this is, where there was 1 point separating players before that round, when the race to the bottom is very much on at the moment, that is a big loss, and that is Rebel with an awkward start. No. This is gear soup time. We are in the thick of it.
In the thick of the soup.
I've managed to get gear 4, but
it's a thick soup.
You know, yeah.
Chunky.
Oh dear. Rebel saved that incredibly well. Rebel has in fact actually gained back time.
That's actually very impressive. Really, really good dirt there. Is Rebel a dirt player? Maybe. Definitely not an ice player.
You can just say things is the great thing. That's
Rebel
very
is
bad
like
ice.
The best dirt player in British and Irish Trackmania.
Eggy and Shawnee both ruined by ice in this particular round, and that's why Coops and now Rebel all the way through. What a round Rebel is putting together.
Best dirt player, by the way. Still the best dirt player. Best dirt player in my books, honestly. Either way. Well, at the very least, come home in second, it looks like. Easily enough speed to get over the line there in second place. Seanywolf and Eggy having a little bit of a harder time getting to that finish line. 7 seconds should be good. Eggy will come home in 4th place. Nobody else losing out on that 12, and that should even things up in terms of scoring here. I'm not going to be able to do the maths in my head, but there we go. Okay, Rebel is back within 8 points of 3rd place.
And here we go, back to map 1, looping to Sun Petal Garden again. I think we're kind of generally expecting to see 2 loops-ish, maybe plus or minus half a map in either direction, or a little bit more if things get particularly tense or are particularly runaway for any given player.
Well, it should be, whoever the second place... Yeah, it would be what? The map where the second place player gets to 60 points should be, in theory, the map that we finish on the other rotation. That's because then...
Yeah.
Because that's when the game would end, right?
Yeah. That makes sense to me, Twiggy, for sure.
I don't know which map we hit 60 points on. I'm not going to lie. So
we'll see how it goes, all right? We'll see if Twiggy's theory holds up, and we'll see if Twiggy can explain it any better as we get closer to it. Yeah.
We're expecting to see...
But Twiggy, it does... Once we eliminate one player, there's no more -0. So, it gets more brutal from there on out. Then 3rd place is -10. And then when we eliminate 3 players, 2nd place is -10.
Okay, so maybe... Okay, so the map or the map before. So we're expecting to end on Worm or on
Saudade. We did get confirmation from the mapper themselves. KJ came into chat to let us know how dumb we were being.
There you go. Well, we'll see if my theory holds up. I think it's going to be Worm that we end on.
So exactly what I said, plus or minus half a map with 2 rotations.
But I showed my working, which in the UK education system would get me more points.
And it would be a Irish system too. And
let's go. I don't know why. It makes no sense. Either way.
Here we are, back into Sun Petal Garden, confirmed to be a Magic the Gathering card. I knew it sounded familiar. I'm not a nerd. Leave me alone. Eggy is currently sitting in 3rd place. Shawnee and Coops battling it out for 1st at the moment. A couple of tenths separating over to the top. It's much tighter inside from Seanywolf, but then more speed from both of the other cards you'd expect. Good landings from everyone, and Eggy is the player carrying the most into this drift cleanly around the outside.
Do you play any TCGs at all? Or
Magic the Gathering.
Oh, right, you actually do play Magic the Gathering. Okay,
not as much as I'd like to anymore.
I've never played a TCG.
I'll come over to the UK and we can play some Magic. It'll be great.
Love that.
Oh, that was close.
That was very close. Either way, have you speaking of kind of nerdy games, have you been have you like, obviously Baldur's Gate is kind of, the thing right now. Have you played it? Have you got it?
I have been playing it, yes.
Oh my god, I have already logged. Get this. I started playing it the day after it came out. So when did it come out? The 3rd?
Something like that.
5th. No, it came out on the 4th. I started playing on the 5th. 60 hours. I have played over 10 hours a day on Baldur's Gate 3.
Lord. To be fair, Rebel. To be fair, I made the
too much
foolish
more to
mistake of going to visit a friend shortly after it came out. And then having a full-time job as well, so I've not been able to log 60 hours so far.
I have my own save that I'm playing as a monk, and I have one that I'm playing with a friend as a full-on healer. I have no attack.
That's
I'm a
kind of
cleric
sick.
Healer. Yeah.
I have because I plan to play with friends at some point, but we haven't been able to find the time to yet. I was like, okay, for my own private run that I'm going to start, I'm going to play a very dark run, just because I don't think that's the direction we'll go in a group, right? And hang on, this is very close. Coops,
okay. Nice.
Hold on. That was less than a tenth. Just to get back to my final point there, that game is so much darker than I thought it was going to let me be. And I was like, oh god, what have I committed to?
Wait, so you went like a,
no spoilers, no spoilers, yes. I went like, yes.
Like I don't even know specifically what that entails past a certain part in the story.
Evil so far.
But I realized that you could do that because I saw some of the dialogue options with, some of the quote-unquote villains, right?
Yeah.
It was like, I see. You can really... oh, boy.
We'll stop talking about Baldur's Gate now, but I will say that several members of my party have not survived for story-related reasons already.
Oh, no. I know... one of them has died in mine.
Okay.
But only in the one I'm playing with my friend, because I'm very, very, like... Well, I'm attached. I'm a cleric healer. I am like very like.
Oh sure.
Like from the Ilmata. So I'm very like I need to do good. But either way, we'll stop talking about that before we accidentally.
Trackmania. Sorry, before we spoil anything.
Spoilers,
Rebel is down to 23 points while we detoured into that, and is about to lose a further 10 at least. That's a very close finish once again, but it's between Shawnee, who's not lacking for points at the moment. Rebel will get a finish in, so it's only -10 rather than -12. That is relevant at this point because -12 gets him an awful lot closer. Every point really mattering at this point for Rebel, trying to hold on long enough to maybe drag Eggy down into elimination as well.
Yeah, I mean, best case scenario, if you're not coming first, you last for another 3 rounds, basically. And then it's going to be very difficult after that, so we'll have to see what happens here. Rebel is going to have to pull out all the stops, as it were. Fun fact, that actually is a real term that comes from organ playing. The different sounds on an organ are called stops, and you pull them out to get the pipes to start working.
Things you never knew. I love learning.
You have your zoology facts. I have my music facts. So.
But I do have a favorite organ player, so
favorite organ player. There are like 10 in the world.
Yeah, and we'll go into it after this round because this is again shaping up to be very close. And again, for Rebel, it is so important to pick up anything you possibly can. Is really hoping for a mistake in front at the moment because we're again just running out of track to make it up. But Rebel has drifted away. Seanywolf might even get the overtake on Coops right at the finish line. Is still carrying a little bit more speed. Rebel has to go safe. Coops wins the round. Rebel still hold on third as Eggy was just a little bit too far away. But that's -7 for Rebel. Now needs above a third place in order to stay off elimination in the next round.
Yeah, now things get really, really difficult here. And, well, looking at how far ahead Seanywolf is, that's the thing, right? Apart from points-wise, you really do need to stay as close to first place as you can if you want to be able to get through this one completely unscathed. But now, 14 points behind third place, 61 points behind first place is a very, very difficult situation to come back from.
Hey Twiggy, do you want to know who my favorite organist is?
Who's your favorite organist?
It is Rhoda Scott, famed jazz organist.
Wow, that's sick.
Yeah, and it's particularly fun because she always played the organ barefoot.
Oh, sick. Oh, okay, I see why now. I see why that's your favorite.
Well, okay, no, listen, it's just cool because she just sit down and play jazz organ and just have a great time. And you're just like, look.
Yeah, good excuse.
All right, Twiggy. Oh, this is why I never share with you.
Oh, dear.
It was perfectly just like, look at this musician having fun, and it's been twisted. No,
we all get it. We all get it. We all understand the subtext.
You people are sick.
Yeah, no. Your favorite organist is the one that plays bare feet. Your favorite Trackmania World Tour World Cup map is Edge. We all get the subtext going on here, Noah. Come on.
All right. Well, those are two separate concepts. Okay.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they're both within the same realm of conversation. Look, we're not going to go into it, but hey, I get what's going on.
Focus on Rebel. Focus also on Eggy as well, who despite a big resurgence in the middle of this match, is now sitting only 2 fourth places away from elimination. So if Eggy has a couple of bad rounds and Rebel can manage to hold off, get above 3rd place, things start to look a little bit different on the face of this. Remember, every single position does count for your final league standing. Every single league point that you can pick up could end up being vital. And of course, there's tiebreakers at the end of the season, because every player will have played every other player exactly once. And so those tiebreakers could well come into play. Yep,
absolutely. So Eggy really the player to catch here for Rebel, which is an unfortunate circumstance to be in, considering Eggy is in 1st place by quite a long way. 7 tenths to make up now if Rebel wants to try and push Eggy into making any kind of mistake or try to get up towards the same amount of points. It's looking really tough now at this point, and anything worse than 2nd place is going to knock Rebel into the 0 point area right away. It is going to be Rebel now on 0 points. So any loss now for Rebel knocks them out.
Yeah, and that's a great round as well from Eggy, the best we've seen all match so far. So making a little bit of a statement here on Saturday that they are not planning on going quietly into last place and into elimination. Rebel on last chance. 4th place, no longer an option. But has looked okay on this map. Didn't look great in that last round, but we're not seeing the mistakes come through necessarily from Rebel here. So just holding on is key.
Yep. And right now, every player really is still fighting for this one. Nobody has even remotely showed any kind of weakness. Everybody has really fought for 1st places every time. I think every player has got a 1st place in different rounds, so everybody's really at each other's throats here. Rebel just trying to stay away from 4th position at this point. Try and bring as many players down to last chance as they can here. And right now, looking good. Staying up in 2nd place, Coops and Shawnee behind. Eggy out ahead, and Eggy really looking to put on this 2nd wind here. Stay on 20 points.
Yeah, it's looking good, but Rebel might just try and deny it. It's a huge round win for Rebel if they can snipe it away, and it looks like they might have edging ahead of Eggy into the final jump, and it is a snipe. Huge round win from Rebel, and knocking just a few more points off Eggy's total.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, at this point, every player is getting towards that danger zone here. Coops down below 40 points now. Seanywolf has dropped into 50-point range, which, I mean, that's only a matter of rounds here. Look, even if you come 2nd every round from here on out, you're still only going to last for another, 12 or 13 rounds like that. It's not the most difficult place to come back from here for Rebel. Just staying out ahead of as many players as possible here. It's possible that Rebel stays alive this whole time, but not in this round. It is not looking so great. 8 tenths, looking at more like 1 second now to make up. Well, 1 crash would keep Rebel alive here, but as we've warmed up into this one, there have been less and less mistakes of that caliber coming through from every player.
And it's reverse cup, so these other players, they're still looking for their own positioning, and that was Eggy pushing too hard on the dirt. Now all of a sudden, looking at a minus 10 point loss, and Rebel, as long as you're not 4th, it's kind of whatever at the moment. Yeah. But beating Eggy is wonderful news. Trying to hold on to it. This uphill dirt, the final turn that really pushes. Eggy pushes so hard around the outside and is faster than Rebel at the moment, but there's not enough road left. Rebel into the final jump, safely across the line. Eggy drops to 6.
Oh lord, it's getting scary. It's getting really scary. Rebel says GG. For some reason, please don't
leave, Rebel. Rebel, no, you're still alive, Rebel.
Please press the acceleration key.
Oh.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Wait.
Hang on.
Shawnee?
Shawnee? No, Shawnee got baited. That was mind games from Rebel. Rebel says GG.
It would have been understandable but dumb if Rebel didn't go off the line, but surely you're in 1st place.
Big fan of what Bozbez has said in chat, which is, just outplayed. GG, mind games win.
Mind games.
Will we be seeing that adapted into Div 1 gameplay as well?
To their advantage so amazingly. In 1st place now by 4 tenths, 2 seconds ahead of Shawnee, 6 seconds ahead of Coops. He's got in their brains.
But you gotta remember, this is important for Eggy as well, because Eggy coming second keeps them off last chance for one more round.
Yeah.
So Rebel's mind games have just helped the two players at the bottom of the leaderboard.
Bro has the friends stat boost, +4 charisma. What's going on? +4 persuasion.
Wait,
I don't know
Rebel's
what's going on. Eggy! No, Rebel has made a mistake. Does he have enough speed to get into the finish line? That's the important part here. Goes for the slower finish. Is he going to stay ahead? Oh, it's close. It's fine. It's fine.
It's okay.
Calm
it's okay.
down.
Important for Coops, though, who is, still sitting in second, but has lost -10 in a couple of rounds recently.
Rebel is just driving with no idea what's happening. Fair enough.
You love to somehow has still managed to hold on for multiple rounds with no idea. Just head empty, just drive. You love to see it.
Now it makes sense why they're in the same div as me a lot of the time. Head empty, just drive. Maybe that is just the div that I get into. Is just every time it's just everybody who has no thoughts going on. Just drive. To be fair, I was watching whose stream was I watching where they said they didn't listen to game sound when they were practicing. I can't remember who it was. I'm pretty sure it was Mudder who said they don't listen to game sound or the music that they're playing on stream while they're practicing. I'm exactly the same. I listen to music so loud that I can't hear the game, and I just press the buttons and zone out.
Yeah, I just listen to summaries of books that I will never read very loudly while I'm playing games.
Summaries?
Love a 3-hour summary of some Sarah J. Maas smut.
What do you mean a 3-hour summary? That sounds like an audiobook. What are you talking about?
It's like an 800-page book. What am I gonna do? Listen to like a 40-hour audiobook?
Why not? That sounds
because
like a nice commitment.
I don't know if you've heard of Sarah J. Maas smut, but I'm not particularly interested in reading the entire book.
Okay. I don't know. I haven't. if it concerns you whatsoever, I have not heard of that.
Well, that's fine. You can look it up after stream. But, Twiggy, we're back.
Is it to do with feet again?
No. It's not always about feet, Twiggy. Get your mind out of the gutter.
You sounded so defensive. No!
I will defend myself against feet at any given point. This map did not go well for Eggy. After a comeback was put on Saudade in the first rotation through, Eggy struggled on Worm. And Eggy is now sitting on 6 points with no room to really struggle. And hey, here is that struggle. Eggy comes last in this round. Fair enough. It is what it is. They still have one last life, but that's it then. You're out of lives, and Rebel, meanwhile, is looking to stage a massive comeback for at least 3rd place.
Yep. Meep meep. The struggle bus is here. Get on. We're all. Where does the struggle bus go? What are its stops, Noah?
The struggle bus, I think, goes. It's really just a tour of London, isn't it?
True. Very true. A tour of Central and South, I would say, definitely.
A tour of apartments available for lease in the middle of London.
just the Northern Line, I would say. Just like that whole kind of slices all the way through London. It's a nice, mix of everything going on there, but it's still struggle, no matter what's going on. I hate London.
Yeah.
I hate London. You've really appealed to my inner hatred for London here, but Eggy has hit last chance points here.
And I think Eggy is looking at a 4th place right now. This was a rough map for them in the first rotation through, as I've already said. But, that was okay when we were still back on Saudade and it looked like we were going to be able to eliminate Rebel and Eggy would have 3rd place sewn up by the time we got here. Hasn't worked out that way, and now there's no more mistakes. This is it. Every round could be your last. As Coops and Shawnee still getting very close to that point, and the fact that this now has lasted so long with 2 players on last chance at this point does mean that it's going to be essentially 1 or 2 rounds. We're just going to see every player eliminated one after another. That's Shawnee moving slow. Potential -10 point loss to fall back towards Coops. Eggy and Rebel might just stay alive one more round. Shawnee, that's a big mistake. Surely a 4th place finish now. Coops, good speed, but not quite able to hold it on the exit of the ice and falling further away from Rebel, who drifts a little bit wide.
I mean, look, that last chance kind of modifier you got going on can bring you that 2nd win, can bring you a little bit more. Yeah, maybe you're a bit shaky, but you're going to be performing at your best. Some players maybe at your worst, but these two definitely showing that they've got the mettle to keep going when the going gets tough, and it is Coops and Seanywolf, the 2 players with points, that are going to be losing the most points here. Well, they're the only 2 that are losing points, considering last chance status for both Eggy and Rebel here, but we're getting close to a 4-way last chance here.
And I would like to apologize for Eggy, who has just set an excellent time there.
Yeah, wow.
Of a 57.5. I was saying that they were on that struggle bus. That life was a little bit rough for them here on Worm. And then sets the best time that we've seen in the match so far.
Both can be
it absolutely can. Scrappy-esque behavior right now.
Sure, yeah, definitely, yeah. Teetering on the edge of horrific and amazing.
Having one great time,
yeah.
You know what that means. It's over for Eggy.
Oh, what?
No.
Because they set a record.
They had a good time.
Rebel set a record as well last round.
That's true,
so,
yeah. So maybe
and they came second, so maybe. Well, we'll see. But they are both in third and fourth place here, so it may just be a fight to the death for these two. If Coops and Seanywolf stay in first and second here, where they are safe, and it's real close between these two players here. It's all going to come down to that finish line.
Again, Coops and Shawnee, though, every point matters for them. They're getting close to that, and they'll be very close to last chance after these players go out and the points start to get worse for them. Everyone gets so close to the edge, but they all survive. Rebel is the player with more speed. Big mistake. They're both safe as long as they make the finish. Coops is down in fourth. Eggy looking to even snipe out Shawnee, not quite, less than a 10. And Shawnee remains on 25. Coops is on 4 points.
You know what? We knew this was going to happen. We chose the best game here to watch because it is evidently the most competitive thing going on here right now. Almost a almost a three-way, sorry, last chance going on, and very close to what?
Twiggy, there's no way that we get 4-way last chance in our first match of BIPL, right?
You have seen so many weirder things happen in Trackmania than that.
But I mean, I'd love it, okay? I'd love it. But again, like, these matches are seeded, like, these first-round matches are, you know, players from the top of the seeding all the way to the bottom of the division. And this is absurdly close.
It is indeed. Again, Eggy and Rebel down in third and fourth place. It is not an insurmountable difference between them and first here. But oh no, that might just be the nail in the coffin for Rebel. Held on so well for this long and has brought everybody else down to very low points, but that should be it. 7 seconds down. Eggy still in third place, and Coops, if he doesn't come in first, will also be in last chance position. So Shawnee will look to hold off Coops here, but Coops is in first now. A little less speed, but not insurmountable there. Shawnee will come home in second, and so far it is those two really holding on to things. Rebel, get your final amount of driving in here. 5 seconds left until you are not playing anymore. That is it for Rebel. A really, really good effort at the end there, but it just wasn't enough. Staying on last chance for that long, I mean, the likelihood that you stay away from fourth position all that time is very low.
I mean, huge performance, and disappointing, I think, for all of us that Rebel couldn't complete the full comeback. The first player to hit last chance is the first player eliminated, but if you just said that after the match, if that was all you saw in the summary, you would not understand how dramatic it became at the end here. And dramatic it will remain, because at this point now, winning a round still means you lose 4. Coops, no matter what, will end up on last chance after this round. Eggy just needs to stay out of third, and both of them will be looking to keep Seanywolf down in that third position. But Seanywolf on 21, Twiggy, as long as they don't DNF, they are guaranteed at least 2 rounds before hitting last chance.
Honestly, coming in second place every round hit would not be the end of the world. You're going to get one of them eliminated if you come second place every single round. And you're still not going to be on last chance. So you've still got so many chances to make sure that all of these players are going to go out before you. But you still, I mean, every round we've seen, you really can't let your guard down. Every player has come in first place. Every player has come in last place. All it takes is one mistake.
That's the situation we're in. It's a little bit tougher for Eggy, though. The only player actually sitting on that last chance, however close the others are, they do have that safety buffer of at least 1 life remaining. In the case of Coops, just trying to make sure that Eggy gets eliminated this round. But that's really what it is. Coops wants to get rid of Eggy as soon as possible, because we saw how stressful it got for Eggy there towards the end of that. You know, dropping down alongside Rebel after being a decent ways ahead towards the end. And nearly going out first. Put on some massive performances then, but we'll need a big one now here in the first round. Back on Sun Petal Garden, because it's starting off a couple of tenths behind.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to make up. I think all of the players have, you know, played warmed up well enough into all of these maps that it's going to be difficult to hope for a big mistake coming out from anybody here. If anything, it's just going to be better turns that is going to catch you up a couple of tenths. And so far, Eggy doing well to get within, kind of shooting distance of Seanywolf here, and is right neck and neck with them. Coops staying out in first here, just trying to get points away from either of these players. If they can get Seanywolf to lose points, great. If Eggy gets eliminated, great. No matter what, if you come in first, that is awesome. Eggy stays away from that elimination zone there. Coops losing to Seanywolf with 9 points lost, now down. Yeah, I'm surprised by this as well, but I'm going to pretend that I knew what was happening. Down to 12 points. So, well, okay, Coops, no matter what now, is going to be on last chance after this round.
Well, once again, I have lied blatantly to you and to the audience, and I would like to apologize for that. The points completely change on redistribution now, so I fooled myself more than anyone else.
Serious lapse in your judgment.
Yeah. This is why you read the rulebook.
Get the ukulele out.
Sad flute noise. -2. So Coops winning that round was huge, as it turns out. I thought that was it. That was Coops on last chance no matter what. But no, still with that buffer, and Eggy's still the only player on last chance. And Shawnee with a couple more chances to stay in it as well. The 2 second places would still be enough to just barely drop down to last chance, but getting a first anywhere in the middle there makes life much tastier. And Eggy at the moment is sitting in last. The dirt for Eggy was really strong in the middle of last round. This time around, Shawnee has made a little bit of a comeback on it, and Eggy will touch, had to risk, tried to risk, didn't make it, and we say goodbye to Eggy. The second player to hit last chance is the second player eliminated, but once again, Twiggy, that does not tell the full story.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it was 21 points was the difference between first and the first elimination, and now 12 points is the difference between first and the second elimination is absolutely wild. Now Coops has been doing really well over the past 2 rounds, now just needs to come in first place. That is, I mean, there's no other option here. You have to come in
Yep.
07's in chat.
I mean, Coops does still need to come in first place. It's just looking maybe a little bit more unlikely at this point. Seanywolf racing away up the field. 3.5 seconds in the lead and can afford to be a little bit safer on these turns. Doesn't need to risk on any of these dirt, and that's really where we've seen the errors coming through. Nice and safe on the platform, landing very early. Not the quickest way through, but safe, and safety is king.
Yep. Now, Seanywolf just needs to get this one done. Seems simple enough. Ooh, almost was that a wheel touch? I think it might have been.
It was a wheel touch,
well, I think it's too close to the end for Coops to be able to catch up here, but it was a good effort. Seanywolf did make a little error, not a big enough one to get things done, and, well, the first seed in this matchup does indeed come first, but not by a massive margin whatsoever. 6 points is what separates Seanywolf from second place. Coops does get eliminated there, and Seanywolf will survive with points to spare.
I mean, Twiggy, the drama. Just the drama of this first match of BIPL 2. Absolutely wild. I hope they're having as good a time over on the alternate stream as we are here. But I doubt it, because that was absolutely wonderful. Every player basically finishes below 5 points at the end there. Shawnee on 6 going into that final round. Like, it's as close as it gets in this format.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if we're going to beat that today with the rest of the matches that we're going to watch, but either way, you should stick around.
Yeah, we're going to try to beat it, because from here on out, we are bringing you 2 matches from Division 1 of BIPL Season 2. It's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, this season, we are looking to cover every single match. That means that while our first match is going on, there is an alternate match going on that will be over on Padster's Twitch stream. He'll be joined over there by Doc and OC, who are wrapping things up from this round of Div 2 over on OC's stream at the moment, and then they will be streaming this 3rd match while we stream the 4th match from this Div 1 setup. Look, I don't know if I explained that well, but it doesn't matter, because you're going to see it all live in action. After a quick break here, we will be back with the action from match 1 of Div 1. Jordan, Hendo, Josh and Floyd take each other on in this Div 1 battle.